Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Chad Hymas. Please let us know where you're coming in from. Love to have you dial in. Let us know where you're at. Give me your name, and looking forward to visiting with you just for a few minutes today. So coming to you live from the ranch in Rush Valley, Utah, just outside of Salt Lake City, about 45 minutes in the Stansbury Mountains. Shondell and I live on a farm or a ranch, if you will. Our dream has always been to raise elk. I know it might be kind of a wacky dream and a little bit different. For those of you that know who I am, you kind of know the story in the background. For those of you that don't know who I am, again, my name is Chad, and I've always wanted to be a farmer, and always wanted to live out on a ranch. It's got in my bloodstream when I was a young kid working on my uncle's farm, and as I got older, that dream came to fruition after I graduated from high school and after I had gotten married and did a couple years of service. Shondell and I started building a dream, and I was injured about six years after that out on the farm. I don't want to talk about that right now. I just want to share with you a couple of ideas as it pertains to some of the challenges, the adversity, being stuck at home, doing homework with the kids. God bless our 2020 graduates, not able to do some of the things that they used to do. And a lot of the things that are happening right now in our world have made me reflect back on when I was pronounced a quadriplegic and what was said to me when I woke up from a coma that have helped me to take an experience of a pandemic, a crisis, which is exactly what losing 95% of your body is. Take me from that experience of going through something very, very challenging, something completely unexpected that came out of nowhere, and turn it into an opportunity. And I believe that those same principles, if adhered to and if applied, will produce some massive and enormous results for each one of you. When I say the word massive, what I really mean to say is perhaps opportunities that you never thought would exist. Perhaps instead of this pandemic being a tragedy, which of course it is, for sure, because we don't want to excuse the loss of life and the sickness and illness and the trauma that has caused many people, the anxiety. But what if possible, that those rather tragic circumstances, which they are, might not make us stronger, find out our true potential, and find out who we really are as a people and as individuals and professionals trying to contribute to the world and work in the workplace. In order for you to understand what I'm trying to share with you today, let me take you back 19 years, and I'll just make it real brief. 19 years ago, when everything seemed to be normal as we were March 1st, 2020 this year, everything seemed to be going as planned. Shondell and I had been married for 6 years. We had 2 children. The boys were 3 and 1. My family meant the world to me. I was building a dream. As I mentioned earlier in this broadcast, I've always wanted to be a farmer and live on a ranch. And I went up in the hayfield and went to feed the animals one night. I was in a hurry that evening. There's a little bit of a safety message there for sure. I share safety messages all over the world today. I took a shortcut. I didn't listen to the red light flashing on the dashboard. And to make a long story short, bale of hay rolled over backwards, landed on my body, punched my head through the steering wheel, and the shaft went through my mouth, breaking everything in its path. And it broke the bones of my neck and severed 95% of my spinal cord. I woke up from a coma about 3.5 to 4 weeks later, and that's when I was given some good news and some news that was very, very crisis-like, very, very traumatizing. I didn't want to hear that news. The good news is that I was still alive and that I was here. My dad gave me this news. I didn't know if that was good news or not because I couldn't feel any part of my body. There was more good news. The doctors, let me see if I can go to a different camera. Let me go to camera 3 and see if I can get a close up of this. So the good news is there's a scar right there on my neck, and some of you can see it. It's right there. It goes up and down. I'm just trying to look and see. So there's the scar. And the good news is the doctors were able to go in and they were able to repair all the broken bones. But there was some bad news. And I think that, well, at least they called it bad news. And maybe some of you can see that. The bad news is that I lost my feet and my legs. I lost most of the use of my stomach muscles. I lost the midsection. I lost 2 out of my 3 chest muscles. I have my diaphragm, and I lost the complete use of my fingers and my hands. And that's where my crisis, my pandemic, I mean, everything that I had known changed in a matter of just seconds, kind of like it changed for us so quickly when jobs were lost, people were sent home, quarantined. We had no choice. So I think many of you can relate to my circumstance more than what possibly or maybe that you think. In fact, I have met people in the last couple of months virtually, as I've done a lot of coaching and done seminars and chatted back and forth with you and engaged, that can have full function of their bodies. I've met people virtually, and even as I've traveled prior to the pandemic, that have full function of all their limbs, that can walk, that are more paralyzed than me. Now that's a strong statement to make in a realm like this, and in a studio like this. But what I mean by that is this: people that refuse to change with changing circumstances will experience a great deal of pain in their life. For those that refuse to change from what was once normal to not the new normal, that's not to what the new next is. Not looking for the new normal. What's the new next? And once you begin to see it through that kind of a lens, you begin to embrace change rather than fear it. You begin to embrace uncertainty rather than run away from it. You begin to embrace some of the doubt that we feel about ourselves, the unworthiness, the lack of self-esteem, the lack of self-confidence. And instead you embrace it, and it increases your self-esteem, your self-worthiness, your self-confidence. When my dad told me that I lost my legs and lost my hands, he asked me to do a few things. He said, son, I want you to take this experience, and I want you to be a better father. I want you to be a better husband. I want you to be a better coach to your kids. I want you to be a better farmer. And I said some things to my dad that I can't repeat in this short little clip. So here's principle number 1. We say it on the farm all the time. I want you to write this down. We say that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink. Principle number 1 is to be a teachable person. Be willing to have an open heart, have an open mind. Be willing to learn new skills, new ideas. Can you imagine where I would not be today if I wasn't willing to change and find my new next? Can you imagine where I would not be today if I wasn't willing to change the kind of clothes that I wear? These are not the kind of clothes that I wear before, excuse me, let me start that over. These are not the kind of clothes that I wore prior to my accident. I wore cowboy boots, I loved Wrangler jeans, and I loved my farmer and my rancher shirts. I loved my professional rodeo shirts. I love those shirts. That clothing today is difficult for me to put on. The cowboy boots are too narrow for my feet. My feet are swollen, full of water, because the body doesn't contract the water the way that it used to. So if I want to die, I'll wear cowboy boots, because a pressure sore is just that. It's called death. The jeans are too tight for me to put on. I can get them on. It just takes a while, and it's not really good for my skin, because Wranglers are a little bit rough. By the way, as a side note, Wranglers are what real men wear. That's just my personal opinion. My shirt, I don't like this shirt. I didn't say I'm not grateful for a shirt. I just don't like it. I don't know. It's kind of a dressy shirt, and I like the cowboy shirts. That's just what I like. If I refused to change what kind of clothes I wear, today would be a naked meeting, and you probably wouldn't appreciate that. My wife wouldn't appreciate that. I wouldn't appreciate that. It's only since I've been willing to change the kind of clothes that I wear that I am able to get dressed by myself. Now, yes, it takes me a couple of hours to do that, but I can do it alone. I travel, or have traveled prior to the pandemic, about 275 days a year alone. I am able to go where I want to go, do what I want to do. Today, I'll be getting on a private charter plane to go meet with some executives. I'll share that with you a little bit later on social media. I'm practicing social distancing. When I'm willing to change and look at the new next and be a teachable person and embrace what's coming next, what's coming tomorrow, more has come to me in the process, and I have found what my true potential is. Remember, those that refuse change will experience a great deal of pain in their life. And I'm just trying to help you avoid that pain. I have been very inspired as I have met with graduates of Grantsville High School. I did their commencement this year. And have seen firsthand what they are doing to embrace this pandemic and this change and what they can do to impact the world. I've been very inspired as I have met with others who embrace change. I have been disheartened by those that are depressed, down, feel overburdened, the anxiety. Now, I'm not saying those are wrong feelings. Those are okay. But to stay stuck in that, anxiety or that depression, well, that's just death. That's a tough way to live life. In order for you to understand what I'm talking about, let me just maybe wrap it up with a couple of quick things. No one has ever climbed uphill with downhill habits. No one's ever climbed uphill with downhill habits. So what habits are you doing today that might keep you from reaching your true potential? What habits are you stuck in that are helping you realize what your possibilities are? What are you doing today that might prohibit you from finding out what your true purpose is? I thought that my true purpose was to be a farmer. I told you that earlier. As I also mentioned earlier, I've been able to travel to 89 countries. These tires of this chair, see if I can back up here. The tires on my wheelchair, they've touched more ground than most people's feet. Now, I'm not saying that to brag or to be arrogant. Please don't hear that message. I'm just saying that once I've embraced change and keep asking myself what the new next is, each day is taking me to someplace new, someplace different, better. And I've been able to do things in a paralyzed state that perhaps very, very few have. I don't think that God made us to be like everybody else. I think he made us to be ourselves and to be different. And I'm asking you to consider the same thing. Embrace that change. I'm still married to the same girl. We have 4 children now instead of the 2 we've adopted. I'd like to share that with you. You guys got to check this out. Here's our latest family photo. Love that shot. There's the 2 boys right there that were born before the accident, Ace and Kyler. So I'm sorry, guys. I'll make that a little bit bigger for you. There they are. There's Ace. There's Kyler. They were 3 and 1. And then Shondell said that we could have more children. I frankly didn't know that we could do that because I didn't know how we would have more children. I'm 95% numb, and I'm not trying to be personal. I'm just trying to be transparent, authentic, and honest. I only thought there was one way to have kids, and I kind of thought that was the only way to do it. And Shondell said there are several ways to have kids. I know I'd heard of adoption, but I never really made it applicable. Never really thought about it. So we adopted a beautiful girl when she was 3 days old from Guatemala. She's now a junior coming up in high school. And this little boy we just got here within the last couple of years from Ethiopia. What a tremendous blessing he has been in our life. Shondell and I, we just celebrated 19 years of marriage. What an angel she has been in my life. She's the one that has taught me a couple of the principles that I shared with you today. And to wrap it up, I just want to share with you just a quick little video clip. This is live footage in the hospital. I'll share it with you. And I would love your comments and your feedback. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'm excited to share this with you. Just a huge shout out to Barbara and I think I'm saying this right, Kiplin Packler and Heather for joining in and sharing a few thoughts. I'm honored to have you guys on today. Please feel free to share this with other people. Lori and Carl Heron, you've been there for me a lot, Carl. I'm really grateful for your friendship. We've known each other since we were just little kids, 2 years old. Just want to shout out to you guys. I'm going to share with you this video clip. I hope you enjoy it. This is live footage from the hospital 19 years ago. Eat it up. There it is. That's live footage. Check that out.
There are times when
give me some hearts there if you can see that. That's some cool stuff. I love that. Here's where I was being stubborn. I didn't want my wife to see me being fed by somebody else. So I asked her to leave. That's how prideful I was. Then she came back in after I was done and she told me that we could still do this. I told Shondell that I didn't think it was possible. So they kept my kids away from me because my attitude was bad. And my thought was, I'll fake it, and then after I see my kids, I'm going to find a way to take my life, commit suicide. That's what my thought was. I'm not saying that that's the right thought, but my thought was I'm going to fake it, and then I'm going to find a way to commit suicide and take my life. But it changes right here. Look, my wife transfers me, and then I transfer myself. Check this out. Look at this. Thanks for the hearts, Barbara. Look, I transferred myself, and so momentum shifted. And I started to realize that maybe I could get shirts on differently. Maybe I could be mobile differently. Look, I'm pushing a chair with sticky gloves. Those gloves have stick-em on them, so I'm able to grip the tires. That's my therapist, by the way. He's a little cocky, but that's all right. Thanks, Lori, for the nice comment. There's where I got to see my two boys. Now, here's where the suicidal thoughts went away. Look at my little son. He runs to my bedside. He doesn't walk, he runs. And then his brother, he gets on the bed with me in the hospital. And then they say this, hey, Dad, Mom said your legs don't work. We don't care, Dad. Dad, we want you to be our coach. So they got me dressed. My son put my shoes on. Sorry for a little emotional there. He put my shirt on. And then we started playing catch. Look at his face. Look at his face. When I saw him smile, I want you all to know I never thought about suicide ever again. After I saw my kid smile, I realized it wasn't about me. I learned how to brush my teeth, shave, play basketball with a volleyball. When I'm willing to look at the new next, I snow skied. Somebody's strapped behind me. And when I'm in a helicopter, and now I'm traveling the world. When I'm in a helicopter, it must be game day. I don't miss my kids' games. I love watching my kids play. And we still have the farm today. And I've always wanted to fly, so we just made this happen over the Great Salt Lake of Salt Lake City, Utah. There it is. That was stupid, by the way. I'm never going to do that again. So what's the message? Please don't give up too quickly. Don't do that. Please don't give up on your dreams, your hopes, your desires, your passions too quickly. Ask yourself what the new next is. Be willing to learn new things, try new skills, do things differently. As I've done that, well, we've created this studio because now I'm doing more virtual things online. Every day I get online in the morning and I share a message with my friends that are joining us today. I didn't plan on the studio. I still planned on, I thought I'd be on an airplane somewhere today and be in a different country or a different city. But I found that I can still visit with people and engage and even get to know people on a more intimate basis through virtual platforms than I ever did in a hotel ballroom. A lot of times in a hotel ballroom, I'll go and I'll speak and I don't get to meet anybody. Today, I get to meet people virtually and chat back and forth like we've done today. When you look at things, but look at them through a different lens, more comes to us in the process. And perhaps that's what the Creator is trying to teach us today. I hope you guys are inspired, not by me, but inspired by your own mindsets to go and create something and do something different today and try and look at things through a different lens. I'll look forward to seeing you again on Monday morning. God bless, and we'll talk to you all soon. Take care.